I would be among the first to admit that we made mistakes in government. I will be among the first to admit that there was corruption within previous Antigua Labour Party administrations. But I have to admit that the corruption that exists today under the UPP regime makes corruption under the previous ALP administration child's play, my dear people.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance,
I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country.
Let's face the music and dance.
A cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done.
Let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
This is True Labor Talks with your host, the executive of the Antigua Barbuda True Labor Party.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are Bird the Third, co-host with Lionel Nedwell on this another issue episode of True Labor Talks. We have a lot to talk about today as usual. We're going to begin with our campaign in St. John's Rural South, and we're going to talk about the whole issue of independence as we just recently held our 36th anniversary from independence from the United Kingdom. In addition to that, we're going to talk about the whole idea of jobs and starting another industry beside tourism and the difficulties that have been faced in the past by previous administrations and our plans to solve that situation of a lack in Antigua of a second and a third industry. We cannot have one industry that is based economy. We cannot rely on tourism alone because it is not living up to what we expected. The bubble, the boom is over. And as the song rightly said by Nat King Cole in the opening, let's face the music and dance. Nedo, what do you have to say?
That's what it is. Let's face the music and dance. Good afternoon to listeners out there. We're here again today to just educate you and then just inform you of what's going on in Antigua. It is not a nice situation right now, and we will be telling you lots of things that will, enhance what we are talking about here today. So we can get started with the campaign.
Well, I just want to say the whole idea is that what we are trying to do here is that you are better informed when you go into the polling station on election day.
True.
That you know why you're going to vote for somebody because you are better informed than if we didn't do True Labor Talks. And you have the UPP, their message, the ALP with their message, and we as a political organization, we have to get our message out. So this is really the means by how we get out our message on our podcast. But as you were saying, Nedwell, our campaign in St. John's Rural South, as usual, it was going very well.
Very well.
Where we were campaigning on last week, the problem that the people were informing us about was just the lack of signage. The fact that a lot of the area had overgrown bush, especially with the rain that has been coming the last month or two, that they see all this overgrowth, and they were of the opinion that the representative for the area, Eustace Tigo Lake, and he's over Public Works, that he should have been able to clean down some of the areas, make it not only safer, but probably even more important that it stops the vermin, the rat, and all kind of diseases from starting,
back and forth,
giving rise to all these diseases. There's all this bush which you can harbor all kind of vermin in it, and in addition they probably need some fogging where we were also, there's some mosquitoes around. That was a main concern. But as I'm saying, the signage for the roads, man, when you're campaigning out there, you're trying to ask a person, where do you live? Oh, I live in Golden Grove. Oh,
they don't
live in
even
Extension. Oh, I live in Radio Lanes. You know,
They don't even
the
know
old
the
road, rural South, really, the parts that's really laid out well is from the colonial era with lower otters. They have their roads well sorted out,
still up and stuff like
90-degree angles and so on. And even if the signs are not up, the people have known the roads from since they were born.
That's true.
So those roads are established, and we know them from since the colonials. But it's the newer roads and so on, the new built-up areas in Golden Grove and some parts of North Grove that they don't have any names. And one of the things that each successive administration has stressed is that when they get in, they're going to name the roads and put up the signage. It has not happened. So that is one of the problems that we are having out there, is the political will to do it. They get into office and they think there's so many other important things to deal with that they forget the basic of, listen, somebody wants to know where I live. I can't tell her, go up by this hill or this church, make a left at this fire station, go over from the
So
police
ridiculous.
station and make the left pass by this lady who sell bakes, Johnny cakes. And what's going on? Are we in the 21st century?
Doesn't
Because
seem
even
so.
in the age of the colonials, the roads, the parts of Antigua that were developed, they had their names.
They were named.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes, Bear, you must be smiling right now, seeing what's going on in the rural South. You have to be smiling, Bear.
Definitely.
Because there's absolutely nothing going on there, Bear.
Yeah.
We go up, as you said, these roads, there are no signs on them. You don't even know where you're asking the people, what name is this road? And they themselves don't even. They say radio range, lower otters, something of that sort. They don't even know the name because the signs, most of the signs have fallen off and knocked down for so long that they themselves don't even remember the name.
The names of these streets have been lost to history.
That's right.
Or they were never named because it's
in the
new
first
roads and
place,
so on, especially like in the extension and so
That's
on.
right. But
You
you
know?
see, on the other hand, I'm so pleased with the receptiveness of the people. I remember talking to this young lady, this older lady, I wouldn't say young lady, an older lady there. She was so attentive as to what we were saying. She was putting in her 2 cents as to what's going on and what's not going on and all that good stuff. You can see the people are hurting there. They are hurting, not seeing a representative, not knowing going on. To them, it's like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
They just live today, one day to the next and all that, because nothing has been put in place for them to have a decent living and stuff like that. And this is what they're craving for. This is what they're asking us for, because they're asking us a lot of questions. So what will you do in this case? And what would you do in that? You can see that they're searching. And because of that, I know you have to be pleased as to what's going on. I don't even want to call the name, but the representative of that constituency has failed the people miserably.
Yeah.
You understand?
So much
And I find that the other parties, there's a new party coming, they bringing somebody in to run in that. So inexperienced, they have no idea of what's going on, within the political arena and so forth. Where I'm feeling our position right now looks quite good, and I'm quite happy for that. We will just have to continue doing what we're doing, keep on focusing on our campaign and all that good stuff, and we will get there.
So true, Nedwell. I'm feeling good that I'm actually out there meeting the individuals.
Yes, that's
they are the
good
electors, and they have to judge me based on
what they
meeting
see.
me.
That's
and
right.
Sizing me up and see what type of
course,
person
from what
and
they
if they're willing
see.
to take the chance on me representing them. It's a very, very, very solemn occasion, and I think most of the times in Antigua they have it as a big party.
Yeah.
But it needs to be taken with a more seriousness.
A different look.
Had the electors been more serious about who they're electing, Antigua and Barbuda, after 30 years of independence, would have been in a lot better state.
That's right.
Sure. And that is a good segue into the next topic of independence. We recently just celebrated our 36th independent anniversary on the 1st of November. One of the situations that I see in Antigua, they're asking you if Antigua has progressed, if Antigua has safeguarded its culture and its history. And the answer I have to give is no.
Yeah,
because on ABS and whatever celebrations or videos they're putting on the program, they don't show the past. We don't see any photographs or any video of the night of independence or the morning of independence.
That's right.
That to me has been lost to history. The archives, the ABS, the ZDK radio, or who was what media houses were around at that point in time. It doesn't seem like if it has been recorded and saved.
That's true.
You know, what I do know, I've heard rumors that the guy, the ambassador to China, Brian Stuart Young, he came to Antigua from Guyana, and for some reason, a Guyanese is the official photographer of the night of independence.
Just imagine.
Right, or the morning of independence, and he was the sole photographer in Antigua Recreation Grounds on that morning, and he was the one taking the photographs.
Yeah.
No Antiguans involved in the historical moment achieving freedom. It was a guy and he's supposed to be taking the pictures, but we don't see any pictures. So I would like Mr. Brian Sunong to come out and tell us what happened and let us know what the situation really is, if it is true or not. Where was he on the 1st of November 1981?
That's right.
You understand?
Yeah.
But we have some other serious issues to deal with on where we're going as an independent nation state in the 21st century. A country that has one industry, that is tourism. All the other ones are flagging behind and failing miserably. And to be honest, the way I look at it, and the party looks in it, is that it is a national emergency for us to establish and to create a second industry, and maybe even a third. We need to have two additional industries which are not just lip service, but they actually will employ substantial amounts of the citizenry.
That's right.
Right? We are underemployed in Antigua.
That's right.
And the tourism sector cannot hire any more people because it's going under its strains. And what we're saying, leave tourism alone and let us get into some other industry. The True Labour Party was always promoting the medical marijuana industry. Many people don't like it, but we're still waiting to hear what is their plan. Because all we're hearing, they're talking about what corrupt Labour was saying and Gaston Browne, that they're going abroad to seek further investment. And people are going to come and invest in Antigua and Barbuda. But we need to create a second industry. What do you say, Nedwell?
Talking about going out and bringing in investors and stuff like that. These things are not happening. We see that. The last administration, they said the same thing, that they were going to bring in investors and stuff like that. That doesn't happen. We haven't seen any viable investor in Antigua for a long, long time here. You know, you have to be able to create. It's a creative things, you know, job creation. You're talking about our unemployment. This is horrible situation there within what's going on right now. And I heard you and Sadiq, I'm sorry, on Observer Radio today, Via.
Yeah.
I heard you talking, and they were talking about, again, the industries, and you spoke of the tourism industry that is on the strain right now, Via.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really doing what it's supposed to do. But I can remember that the last election there, Via, that we came up with a solution to this problem. And the problem, I'm talking about the problem of not even being able to address our national debt, to even take care of our day-to-day going on, paying wages,
monthly salaries.
Wages and salaries and time, all that good stuff there. And we came up with a great solution to the problem. And right now we are seeing that many countries are capitalizing on the solution that we came up with. And it's so hurtful there to see that we just ignore that. I am not blaming the people because it's what you know and what you've been taught. But I see that they should have given us a chance in order to implement what we are telling them about, and that's the marijuana industry there. We spoke of that. We told them how viable that industry would have been in terms of paying off our national debt and all that. And, you know, they didn't what should I say? They didn't eat. They didn't grasp what we're saying. They didn't buy into it and all that good stuff. But I was looking at article here from the network there. Not that network again, where that's
News Republic?
Yeah, News Republic, that's right.
Yeah.
And they were saying it's a Bellefonte Examiner. Bellefonte is a place in Ohio, it's a city in Ohio. And the article, let me read a little of it. It said companies are lining up to land one of the 60 medical marijuana dispensaries in Ohio, and several are interested in Bellefonte location. The City Rules Committee learned on Thursday. City Law Director Josh Stolley told Chairman Diane Hager and the Councilman Mick Lyle he has been approached by several companies about the city laws in terms of the marijuana situation. Our business district language is pretty broad, he said. It appears the dispensary will comply with our zoning if we do nothing. And this is one of the three options for the city, Hager noted. Options we're talking about, and they are embarking on the marijuana issue here, this marijuana program, because it's a viable program. It's a program that would have allowed us to touch our national debt that we don't even look back on over the years. And this is something that I see that we should continue focus on, because there is no other alternative at this particular point. Investors are not coming like how we would like them to come here. And, even they come, you see the situation with Sandals. The debate between investors and what they want and what we have to give in order for them to invest in our nation. So I've seen this marijuana program to be one of the better programs that would have really helped our economic situation. To get out of that, we'll be able to pay our debts on time, to pay our wages and salaries on
monthly
time.
Wages for the civil servant and
even
so
the
on.
Statutory stuff in terms of Social Security and pension.
Medical benefits,
and so forth. These things will be right back in place. So, people will criticize marijuana because of what they heard over the years. But what's the alternative here? And other places are embarking on that because they see the benefit of it. And it's, it's something that can benefit us. And I do hope that in the near future, let's just say next election, that they will put the proper people, the real people, the people who want to represent the well, the people who want them to give them a better life, into Parliament so that we can get these things going there.
Well said, Nedwell.
Yeah.
Well said. As we said, we need to have a second industry, a third industry, but even the the tourism industry. We see the Prime Minister inability to handle his position in a statesman-like manner.
Sure.
The constant abuse, verbal abuse that he's given, meeting out to
Potential.
the Sandals Hotel Resorts. There's an article dated today, the 5th of November 2017. It's in the Jamaican Observer. Sandals suffering from Antigua PM's inability to attract major investments. I'm just going to paraphrase some of the articles. I'm not going to read the whole article. It's kind of long, but you'll get the gist of it. So just bear with me. Listen to what is being said. Sandals Grand Antigua Resort, where the room count was almost double on the memorandum of understanding, which granted the company relief from the hotel tax and guest levy. Sandals Resorts also insisted in a press statement that it should not have to suffer Browne's unwarranted attention because the administration has been unable to break ground on any major investment despite many announcements. So that is what they are saying. They are suffering because the Prime Minister cannot get any investors into Antigua. You understand? They go on to say the Prime Minister's latest salvo came during the current affairs radio program Nationwide at 5 in Jamaica on November 1st, 2017, where he yet again made false claims that Sandals sought to avoid its tax obligations and has acted inimical to the interests of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Nothing could be further from the truth, but the Prime Minister has demonstrated time and again that he has no interest in the truth. That's what the article says. He goes on to say, the fact is that in March 2000, Sandals under Prime Minister Lester Bird's administration signed a memorandum of understanding which granted the company relief from the hotel tax and guest levy in exchange for constructing 100 new rooms. Not only did Sandals keep its word to the people of Antigua and Barbuda, we exceeded our obligations by almost doubling the number of rooms and suites to 180 at significant additional investment. Now it kind of ends up here. Okay, it's back and forth between Sandals and Butch Stewart and his son and Gaston. But he ends just by saying this, and I want the people of Antigua and Barbuda to hear this. It is unfortunate that the Prime Minister Browne and his government have failed to attract any new investment of significance in the tourism sector, since no major project has broken ground recently despite several promises. However, we do not believe we should have to suffer for that. One would think that with the challenges facing the Caribbean following the passage of two devastating hurricanes, the Prime Minister would spend his time in a more constructive manner, as we have done in reaching out to the marketplace, working alongside rather than against us, to help promote the region and build Antigua and Barbuda tourism in Antigua and Barbuda tourism product. Now, here is an investor. It is a regional investor, from coming out of origins in Jamaica, and they have started the hotels. They've been in Antigua for give or take 25 years. They're the largest employer in Antigua and Barbuda besides the government
sector.
And here it is, you get on a radio program out of Jamaica and you go and start to slander, to disrespect your investor, the largest employer outside the government. You don't hear Gaston Browne saying this about either. You're supposed to already start building, and it's supposed to be $2 billion in investments at bare minimum. And up to now, nobody getting any work out of either. But you have Butch Stewart up in your heart and in your mind. This sort of behavior, this thing should have been resolved a long time ago. They should have sat down behind closed doors, which I thought was happening. And was still going on negotiations. But the fact that you holding such a hard line against them, and it's not that whether they're right or wrong, I believe that everybody needs to pay their taxes. Yes. I believe that there should have been some sort of concession given to them, not the one that they had, but something else to make them save face. If they save face, I believe you can get along with them.
Of course.
But you've gone and you try to expose them for right or wrong what quote unquote they did, and you have basically put the welfare of over 700 employees of Sandals
At risk.
at risk.
Absolutely.
That is the problem. When the Prime Minister and Butsu are arguing with one another, it's not the rich people feel the pressure, it's the poor man. So what I am saying is that the Prime Minister, you need to go and do your job. You need to learn a little ethics. You learn a little etiquette. Learn how to speak in public. Learn how to keep your mouth shut when it's not benefiting your people.
That's true.
Maybe you don't really care because it's not affecting you. But there are lots of families out there. Men have school fee to pay. Men have uniforms to pay for.
So much
Men
different
have
bills.
college tuitions to pay for.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a jokey matter. So I believe it is what it is. What he said here is what he intends to do and intended to say. We have to say, Nedwell.
Yes, well, tackling diplomacy is something as well. Not everybody that has that in them. And the Prime Minister certainly doesn't. He ridiculed and he went out there and he talked so much things about, as you said, an employer that employed the second largest employer of this nation. And outside of government, they're the first, they're in the private sector. And then he speak like that, with lack of tact and diplomacy there is just horrible there. It's horrible. This is something that should have been resolved behind closed doors, with a lot of diplomacy and stuff like that involved. And the Prime Minister is not prepared to do that. The Prime Minister wants to create a situation where it looks like he's right every time. There's nobody who is right and correct every time there. And this is the situation that the Prime Minister has created for Antigua. As you said, he's putting a lot of people's jobs at risk because now, as you see, Bush told he's not too pleased. It's
Can't be pleased.
No, it's in the Jamaican media right now. They're talking, and they're talking back. And it's to show that they're very, very, very displeased as to how the Prime Minister go about doing that. But I want to say this, even from the outside, that is being noticed that the Prime Minister or the Antigua Labour Party is unable to attract any viable investors in Antigua. You understand? They're saying that he's unable to do that. And most of this problem is because he's unable to do that. And it's true. It's absolutely, we haven't seen any proper investment. What have we seen over the years that investment that came over the years that employ a number of people that we can say put a dent in our unemployment? We don't see these things happening anymore here. So even from the outside, outsiders are noticing that we are going through this particular dilemma. And I don't know if the Prime Minister is sleeping or what, because he appears as if he's not noticed. He hasn't noticed. So I don't know. I think the Prime Minister need to go and bring himself up to breast with some sort of diplomacy. We can sit down diplomatically and don't let everything look like it's a war going on between him and somebody else and all that. And this is how it looks. So as you said, the Prime Minister need to go and do some refresher course and something.
Negotiate with these people.
Yeah, you got
Show a little humility, humble yourself.
Of course.
It's not him not getting work, It's the 700 workers that have to be the main concern.
Yeah, they're the ones who are going to suffer.
And the families and the children.
And as you said, because he probably is not going to feel it in this instance, it doesn't make a difference to him. So he go about doing it any kind of way he feel like, and try to degrade people and all this nonsense and all that. So he needs to go and get abreast with some of the some diplomacy within himself, so he can sit down and be humbled, and whoever the other side, they come down humbly and get things in order here.
So true.
Yeah.
We're going to move on. We're going to keep it flowing, right? That is our position on the Sandals brouhaha, where the Prime Minister is going to let it go. I mean, it is kind of quiet over the summer and so on. I know there are one or two articles back and forth, pro Gaston Browne, pro Sandals. But I mean, him getting on the radio station in Jamaica,
yeah, man, that's
just add in gas to the fire.
Yeah, of course, it's like
it
war.
didn't need to go down that path.
It's like
honestly.
war, yeah.
We want to talk about independence again and social cohesion, because we hear the motto for this independence: united in rebuilding. But I mean, they have these phrases, economic powerhouse, and
they're good
all
at
this
that.
stuff, ready to rebuild. But the problem is you have to have social cohesion.
Of
You
course.
can't just say you're united, You have to say we're united and we have a common purpose.
That's right.
No, I believe they kind of tried that with united to rebuild. So you're going to unite to rebuild the country. But my whole position is that now the Prime Minister and corrupt Labour have been rebuilding Antigua and Barbuda. For the last 3.5 years since they took office, they're supposed to be rebuilding, if not Barbuda, well, definitely Antigua, because that's where they're based for the most part. I don't see any rebuilding taking place. What do you have to say about that, Nedwell?
Absolutely not, Veer. We are rebuilding. We haven't seen anything taking place. Veer, just this morning, a young man was saying to me, look, it is so, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. He says it was so bad under the UPP that I was glad when the UPP, came out of power. But he said, Ned, right now it's hunger. It's not just, it's not going well with me anymore. I'm feeling the hunger. And I'm saying, what are you talking about? You were the one that was celebrating that UPP. Say, look, Daddy, that's a mistake. That's a big, big mistake. And it's true. We haven't seen no rebuilding what? What have they built anyway in the first place to be rebuilding?
That's one of my main arguments.
Yeah, it's
and
nothing.
in addition to that, you had 3.5 years of rebuilding. And now you don't know what to do in Barbuda. You're supposed to have the experience.
Of course.
You see what happened in your car, Wolf, and eventually the wolf showed up.
Came, and now you're running like hell.
And that's not no pun on the lone wolf.
That's so. That's the other wolf there.
It's a big problem.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. The government seems not to understand the plight of the people there. And as you said, even the Sandals situation you're showing, that is the 700 people who are feeling the brunt of the whole thing. It's not them. They're getting their huge salary and all that good stuff, so they don't feel it. They're getting all these perks and all this, so they don't feel that. So I'm just wondering if because of that, they just don't understand the plight of the people. The people are going through a horrible time there, especially now these people are on the breadline. The Sanders back, you see, you have to go back and forth because that's a typical example of what's going on here. You have the people on the breadline here, and they're waiting. They're not getting any no salary coming anymore, and all that good stuff. They have to wait until the refurbishing is done and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, these guys are eating big, and they're living lavishly. And you are suffering like anything, and they behave like they don't understand what's going on here. This is a horrible situation. We have some insensitive people that's really running the country right now. There's no sensitivity in how they really seeing how the living of the people. There's nothing at all like this here. These people, look, they either take it or leave it. We are in control and all that. But you see, there again, the people had the opportunity just before the election. They come to you and you just grab some little handout or something, and you go down the same mode there. And this is why the people are hurting like that right now. They don't take this thing serious. You have to take your life serious as well. And the people are not doing that. So because of that, now they're just taking advantage of the situation, and any old thing goes. And this is a horrible situation for Antigua right now,
as I said, it's about having a socially cohesive society. A population of under 100,000 people, with people who the original Antiguans are related through blood or marriage. I don't think it's a hard task to the Prime Minister to not only unite the people, but to focus them on achieving a goal, a task. If we say that we have to go and rebuild the Barbuda, then we have to go over there. Lots of Antigua should be able to travel. They're supposed to have the Coast Guard boats, and we make it a national pride issue to go and help out that
That's
island.
right, and fix the place.
What I don't understand, it was one of the first things I heard after the hurricane when the Barbudans came over to Antigua. Somebody went to see him, and he said, do you have any title? And if you don't have a title, then you're a squatter?
Yeah, that's out of
Then you're a
ignorance.
squatter?
Yeah.
So how
Disrespect.
How do you unite to rebuild with people that you're calling them a squatter?
Squatters, this is what I'm talking
Who
about.
told our people whose ancestors have been on the island for over 300 years that basically they don't have no right, they have no,
No,
they
they're
don't have no
squatters.
right
This guy
to be
is
there. They
something
ought
else,
not to be there. Get off the island.
This guy is
You
something
understand?
else. No.
And that is the problem I have. The Prime Minister does not unite people. He's like a Donald Trump.
He's a
Or
divider.
Donald Trump is like a Gaston Browne. They do not unite people. They practice the political ethics of divide and rule.
Yeah.
Political tactic, I mean.
Yeah.
Stratagem of divide and rule. Because we're in Antigua and Barbuda when we could come together. We are suffering because we're not having a lot of employment anymore. The tourism industry, the boom has died. We are having these massive hurricanes coming, hitting the people of Antigua and Barbuda. We're having these international scandals that are compounding the situation where large financial Western institutions don't want to give us money. How are you uniting the people for a common purpose? And that has not been done. That is the mark of a leader in my eyes. But when you can have a prime minister that says this, he goes, and we're supposed to be proud of our international VC Bird International Airport being opening. And to me, it's a big fraud, really, because Antiguans didn't build that airport.
Yeah.
Chinese men built that airport. How can you have
got
national
knocked out
pride
of it.
when you or your fellow countrymen or your uncle or your grandfather or your father didn't have any time working there to say,
Nothing
we
to do
did
with
that
this
as a
stuff.
people
That's
to
right.
unite the people of this country?
Yeah.
He went up there and said that he would prefer to be on his super yacht.
Yeah.
He didn't really want to be there.
Yeah.
Because the situation where you're talking about loans, Antigua getting loans now, we're not getting them from the Western powers. We're not getting loans from Canada. We're not getting loans from England.
Right.
We're not getting loans from America. What we do, we go to China. We tell China we want our airport built. They build the airport. We pay back the loan. The Prime Minister cuts the ribbon. So I'm going to play this clip, Netwell, and I want you to comment on it, okay?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I would prefer to be here on my super yacht with my family. But the reality is, I have to do the people's work. I have to travel, I have to network, I have to meet people, I have to interest them to invest in this country.
You see there? You see there? It's like a joke. This is what I'm talking about. You're administrating people's life and you behave like it's a joke. He preferred to be on his super yacht. You know what I'm saying? This is so disrespectful and all that. You are at a groundbreaking ceremony, or you're going to cut the ribbon for a new airport that has just been built. This is nothing that you're supposed to be talking about where you prefer to be. This is where you at. And you do what you're supposed to do in a proper way. This guy is so disrespectful, one, and he's just making fun of people's lives. Because if you heard the giggling after he said that, you know, it is crazy. It is this whole thing is totally out of hand. These people need to get themselves, you know, abreast as to what's going on or what's needed to get this country back, you know, to where it was, and you know, to do the things that people can live a proper life, a good life, and to prepare for their kids and grandkids coming and all that good stuff. And they're not setting up nothing like this there. The unemployment is just, he promised, this same Prime Minister promised that unemployment after 3 years would not be no more. Would be no, and look at it. We haven't seen a dent in the unemployment since they got into power. You know, what I'm seeing here is that these guys are not taking the representation of the people as serious as they're supposed to be taking it there. They're not. They're taking things for granted there. You are representing the people. And these people, you're the one that has been put there. You got the mandate to be administrating the lives of these people. And us, because I'm involved too. And I'm not feeling it. It is not. It's not right there. And for the Prime Minister to be giggling on something like that, it shows that he has no respect for the people of Antigua and Barbuda, and he needs to get himself abreast with that as well. You mentioned that the way how these investments are now being handled. You go out there, you can't get loan from the Western powers. You get the loan from the Chinese, but all the money stay in China. No money come here. We have nobody on the job that's been employed with these guys. If we do, it's very, very few. So it simply means that all the money just remains there. The workers get paid from China, and they're the one. But we have to pay back the money there. This is a horrible situation. How do you explain this? And how do you do this time and time again? And how do you go and negotiate in the interests of Antigua people in that format? This is totally out of hand there. You should be able to say, well, look, at least half of the employees who is going to be on this job, it has to be Antigua based. You should be able to say that. If you can't say that, that deal is not working right for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. How many people get jobs for all these projects that they say they're doing? They bring their own people. The money stays right which part is supposed, and then we in turn give them back some money. How does that work? This is sickening. It's a real sickening situation, and the people have to realize this. The people have to understand we are not benefiting from nothing that even they go out. All right, they say that we're going to bring investors and all that. They bring investors, but how do we benefit from it? We don't even get jobs. We can't even get jobs from those investments. So what is the benefit of them doing? To have a structure? You say you have a structure, but all right, what is the national pride behind that structure? Yeah. We have no pride at all. We didn't play a part in it. The people, they sit down and talk behind closed doors. They come and they chop the structure, and all we know, that money comes out of our pocket, and it's going to be out of our kids' pocket, and our kids' pocket in order to pay the loan back. But on the other hand, it's a horrible thing because it appears as if that these guys, they don't even care about the national debt anyway. They go out there and they just rack up all these debts. We getting loan, the people not benefiting, and the national debt goes up there. It goes up in high proportions. To our kids and grandkids who don't even know about these debts, they're the ones who end up have to pay these debts back. So true. And the grandparents and parents didn't even benefit from it. It's a horrible situation. People in Antigua have to realize this is not. They've been watching CNN and all these other different networks and see how these things work. So it's I'm just wondering, how do they go down these paths time and time again, and they see how people rectify their problems? It appears if we don't want to rectify our problem. We have a problem, as a real severe problem here that need to be rectified, and people have to realize that, and it cannot be rectified without the people's input. Very true. Their frame of mind have to be a rational one as well. Yeah. You can't just want to take some like a handout and these things. No, that's a thing of the past, man. Yeah. You have to know, considering. Look, I have to set up something. I know on when I came up in life, my parents, they sort of pave a way for me, so that I don't have to go through the hardship that they went through.
They try to get you out of that. The difficulties,
exactly.
Their life, and they know the pitfalls.
This is what it is.
Let me say a little Nedwell around that.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't understand how these people, they have children and grandchildren, and they still go down this path. They're not paving a way. You need to pay. We have to do that way. If we are not doing it in that way, it's not done correctly.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it is a waste of time.
What I would say, right, and my advice to any government, and this is what the True Labour Party will do when we do attain office, we're going to pick 3 or 4 areas in our society that we earmark to do better than any other country in the OECS, in CARICOM, in the region as a whole.
That's right.
What I'd like to see is for us to spend the time, the effort, the capital on bringing our healthcare services to a first world level.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'd like to see us go into our education and not just talk about we're going to open up a new brand new spanking university in Antigua just so that we can have our name on the cornerstone.
To say, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to have education at the primary and the secondary school level.
That's right.
To be the epitome of excellent schooling in the Caribbean. Those are your formative years.
That's right.
So it is fine to say you're going to open up a university, but Mr. Browne, neither you nor corrupt Labour Party has the money to make that a first-class world level university. You're going to be competing with Oxford, Yale, Harvard, Cambridge, NYU, what's the other one? Michigan University.
Course,
you're going to be competing with
State
Columbia
and
University.
That, yeah.
You're going to be, what's the other one? The other one,
Ohio
Cornell
State,
University.
Cornell and all that good stuff. Yeah.
So I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't spend the capital on that at this point in time. What I would do is make certain that the schooling that we have in the first and secondary schools is the envy of all other islands in the Caribbean. And until you do that, you're not ready to talking about no university.
Yeah.
Because a university is not a college they're talking about, which is just one discipline. College of Law, College of Maths and Sciences, College of Political Science, and College
so
of Accounting, or various
right.
disciplines and occupations. A university has several colleges under it. So it's not like he's opened up one discipline, a college to teach accounting to teach civil engineering.
No, that's right.
You understand?
That's right.
He wants a university that has several colleges under it. And my whole idea, we don't have the money because up to now, Social Security hasn't even paid
up until this time.
the people their deductions.
That's right. The recipients have
The
received their
recipients.
money.
Yeah, their money.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah.
You said something today that on the radio again that I have to refer back to. You said 1967 coming up there, and your grandfather went and purchased the land of Antigua.
The syndicate,
the syndicate lands for the people. We were the envy of the Caribbean because we were
entire
ahead.
Caribbean, we are a rich
were
people,
ahead
or
of
were
them.
rich people.
Yes.
Where is that wealth
You said
today?
it. You
Tell me where
understand?
it is. Because you go and look at Kingston, Jamaica, the capital. You go and look at Castries in St. Lucia.
Yeah,
You
just
go
as
and look at
developed.
Bastia in St. Kitts.
Yeah.
You go and look at Kingstown in St.
St.
Vincent,
Vincent.
and Georgetown, Guyana.
That's right.
And look at all these other capitals, Bridgetown, Barbados.
And we were ahead of these people there.
Were land rich
That's right.
as a people.
Yeah.
And our capital looks just like these other ones, or even worse.
Absolutely.
That is supposed to be our look at how their capital stands. It is well
laid out,
cleansed.
well
It
put
is
together.
well laid out.
Yep,
The
man.
roads are paved.
Oh, you
the
mean,
signage
man.
is intact. The sidewalks are smooth. There are no cracks in the sidewalk. People trip and injure
all that.
themselves.
Oh, you mean.
We don't have that.
That's a regular
So
thing.
that is what when they talk about how great things that Papa Bird did, I like people to face up and say, and what happened after he purchased those
That's
lands?
so true.
Where did the subsequent generations of political leaders go wrong?
That's right.
And that is what I'd like to ask the question. Look at the capital in St. John's and compare it to any other capital in the Caribbean. And you tell me,
right.
where has all the wealth, the land wealth of Antigua and Barbuda
Where
gone?
it gone to? You
You know?
understand what I'm saying?
That is my test.
But one thing I know, land is something else. You buy it for one price and just down the road it gone up, it skyrocket. So which means that the land that your grandfather bought, so the value of it right now should be way up there.
Hundreds of millions, billions
Way,
of dollars.
way,
Because we're not
way,
talking about only just the land on the interior, the beachfront properties.
all that good stuff here.
Which is
It
some
was
of the
bought.
best
It
beaches
was
in the
our
world.
stuff. These
Now
guys
tell me,
don't know.
what do we have to show if we had all that land wealth.
Oh, God.
We have
that's just
sold
so
it off
crazy.
over the generation and a half.
Yeah.
And sold it and give it away.
Yeah, constantly,
We're going to build a hotel.
Yes.
We're going to build this and here. We're going to have this up there. Up at Crafts, we're going to have this. And you get 25 acres of this.
Yeah,
What do we
but
have to show?
one of the guys that was on the program with you today, he emphasized, though, he talked about the peppercorn prices. And it's so true.
Yeah.
They have been giving away our land for absolutely nothing,
For a generation
but
and a half.
Yes, but
We
it
have
goes to
nothing
show
to brag
you,
about.
right? Yeah, it goes
Nothing
to
to
show
brag
you
about.
that is not has nothing to do that these guys don't care about emphasizing that we want to be the envy of anything on the Caribbean. It's not that is not them. They're not into that veer. You know, they're into self-development. And this is what I've noticed over the years. All these guys, they get into power and they somewhere down the road, they boast how rich they are and all that good stuff. You know, but that is not it. We didn't employ them to get rich. So you get rich, that's yours. But we employ them to administrate the lives of the people and to make the people's lives be better.
Yeah.
A better way of living. This is not happening, Via.
Yeah. That's
you
the
know,
bottom line.
This is, and it's a hurtful thing, Via. It's hurtful. The reason why it's so hurtful, though, to see that some people are just so contented with some little handout, Via, and not the opportunity. Opportunity is what we need. These guys need to put program in place that give people opportunities to live a better life.
Yeah.
You go out, you make a good, decent salary or different wages and all that good stuff. But it is not so there. You know, they have their cronies, they have their people with legions.
Hands-on.
That's right. And when that T-shirt come wraps up with whatever is inside there,
$1,000, you know,
man,
people think
that's
that
the
they're
glorious.
really living-
How you mean? That's a
living a good
glorious
life now.
moment for these guys.
Yeah.
You know,
So true.
it's horrible. It's horrible, and something needs to be done. I don't know who's going to.
Well, it's been done, you know, Nedwell. We started on the 5th of July 2013 with the True Labour Party.
on our part. Yeah,
And
yes.
many people are talking about, oh, True Labour this and True Labour that, and I didn't even get how much 100 votes, and it will take time.
Right, but now we see
will
no
take
better
time.
option. What better option do you see at this time?
Yeah,
The
you see, you
UPP
have
got
no-
the opportunity. The ALP had one before them, and they got a second. And this time it's even worse.
Yeah.
It's
So true.
even worse. I tell you, this guy this morning was basically crying, man. He said, you know why? Because then he was boasting on me. He was saying, boy, ALP win again. UPP, they're out now. They got to get out and all that. And when he tell me, boy, Neddy, UPP was better than ALP.
Yeah.
He said they were bad, but these guys. And when he said that to me, I knew it meant something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we are really having a harvest time here, you know, just making life. And, you know, to these guys that's in administrating our life, it appears if it doesn't even faze them. It doesn't matter. You know, there's nothing that they're planning to do. They have no plan in place. They have no economic policy.
Yeah.
They're still talking about no investment and all that. They went and sell our passport. Now that has fallen apart. That has collapsed. So and from that stage now, they don't have nothing else
What
planned.
is going to be the next cash cow? What lame brain ideas
Man.
Gaston Browne
Boy.
and corrupt
It seems as if they're exhausted all of it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at collapsing. I'm looking at the whole Antigua city. Antigua just collapsed. The economic
just
city.
can't pay its bill.
No,
It's
it can't do nothing. Yeah.
As I said earlier, the whole idea with the True Labour Party is that on attaining office, we believe we have to set aside 3 or 4 areas that the government would spend extra money and
Develop.
more attention than the other areas, because we want to be known throughout the world, throughout the region, as in good in education.
That's right.
We want to be good at healthcare.
That's right.
And we need to concentrate on the road works. We need to have good infrastructure.
Road
You
works.
cannot have a tourist destination like Antigua and Barbuda and the capital, St. John's, look the way it is.
Oh man.
That thing is disgusting. I've never seen anything like that.
You're
How
talking
can you invite tourists to walk on those sidewalks? How can you invite tourists to see not even a quarter finished car park
something
where you
like
used to
that.
have a football field and a cricket field? That is just not acceptable.
You're talking about
That is what you call bubble.
That's so true. But you're talking about that. We drove through Radio Range last week campaigning, and just as we made that turn going up by National Bakery, you see some water running across the road.
Yeah.
And you
Coming down from off the hill.
off the hill there. And you know this been happening, for
The water,
a while.
it turned black.
You see the color?
It smells.
That's right.
It's sour now.
Oh, yes, but awful.
Stink.
But the lack of drainage, not even proper drainage. there.
And that's on the hill, so that was coming off the hill
Yeah.
and sitting right there.
The dead center of the road.
Yeah.
So there was no even drainage that it run off the hill
that's
and went
stagnant
into
water.
the drainage. That's just stagnant water there.
And that can cause
shows.
all kind of diseases, and then the mosquitoes
But we-
will breed in that, and man,
I
it's
lo-
a terrible
I-
thing.
I
The
look-
children playing that get ringworm.
Oh
or
yes,
whatever you do.
definitely, some sort of. But I looked across at you and I saw that you don't even know. In my mind, I said, "We must be smiling, boy, because this representative looks so bad.
Yeah.
He looks like it's rubbish. He is not doing nothing in that constituency because as simple as that, to send public workers and just set up a drainage that can take that water. He have that water running across the street, so you're in your car, run through, splashes. This whole thing is so ridiculous, Via. These guys just making a joke and a mockery of this whole representation thing, Via, and it needs to change.
Yeah, it needs to change. So as I said, Nedwell, we just tell people on the campaign trail. It's not about voting for me at this point in time. It's still early in the before the election is called.
But look at
But we're asking the electors or anybody in the sound of our voice to keep an open mind. Because the alternative is going back down the same path where you've been
time and
before
time again.
and getting the same results.
Same
How
results.
many times are you going to add up the same sum and still getting something that is unsatisfactory?
That's right.
And you're still going to add it up the same way?
Yeah.
You need to change up the way you're doing your business.
Yeah, you're getting an X instead of a tick. And
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
completely
You
satisfied
keep
with
getting
that.
adding up the
Yeah, the wrong
figure,
answer.
and it's wrong. And it's
Yeah.
the wrong answer.
Yeah.
So you need to go change it up.
You got to.
You have to change
if
it
you mean
up.
any good for
I
yourself.
honestly believe that several other members in parliament outside of the two main political parties is the best way to go.
Absolutely.
I believe that you have to hear a different alternative, a different take on the circumstances.
Yes, we are.
And you cannot just have two political organizations monopolize your political
daily living. That's right.
your political establishment.
That's right.
You can't have that. That they're talking about democracy. Well, two political organizations, if you don't like me, then you can choose the other guy.
Yeah, sorry.
50-50 chance that I get in there the next time. You need to reduce it down to 33 and a third, and then even down to 25% chance. And we have 4 political organizations potentially be running St. John's Rural South. Man better ban, I believe I have the better solutions, the better plans. I am in that constituency every week. People know me because I've assisted people before in the courts of law. And I am not moving out to St. John's Rural South, and we're continuing to look about building our community center where we can do even more good in that constituency.
That's true. But
Well, I will give you the final word.
Wow.
We
already
have-
there? It's gone?
Yes, it's already that time.
But yeah, okay, let me use
Right
this.
now it's 57 minutes, so there's 3 minutes.
Okay, the few
3
of it.
minutes to go.
Yes, we are. But you
Go
see, yeah, you talk about the two-party politics business there, Via. And it seems as if this man and that man is the same man, Via. Because on the radio today, you spoke of people. You spoke of the representatives just before the election. They talk about one another, this thief and all that and all that. But then you don't see anything happen. You don't see that they go and try to hold anybody accountable.
Yeah.
And the next time round, it just switches around. Same how, same results, Via. And that is an awful thing, Via. Because the people have to be accountable. You put these people there to represent you. You put them there to administrate your life. And they seem as if they take more than what they give, and they need to be accountable for it, Via. And this is not happening under the two-party system. I am, some people within our structure there, they talk about DNA and all that, but I welcome the DNA. I welcome any amount of parties to come and play a part within our development. And may the best man win. And then, the reason for this is when we get into parliament, and it's a diverse parliament with a number of different persons from different parties, The eyes cannot have it.
Yeah.
And this is what's killing Antigua. The eyes have it. They don't even, it doesn't really matter what the argument is and how they sound and how it benefits the people there. It's not like that. It's allegiance and, they go towing party line and all this nonsense. And this is mashing up the country there. It's totally tearing the country apart. People have to recognize this. And I'm just telling the people, I'm begging you, you have to recognize what the ailment is in order to rectify and cure the ailment. Yeah. So please, ladies and gentlemen, as we go forward, look at what's happening. As my co-host here and the representative of Rural South is telling you, he's not even asking you to vote for him at this particular time. He's just telling you, pay attention as to what is going on and keep an open mind as to how you're going to handle what's going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm asking you again, do not keep on toying from allegiance sake, toying this two-party line business and third party can't make it and all that. These things are thing of the past, nonsense.
If the third party can't make it in Antigua and Barbuda politics, then you as an elector, you will not be able to make it either because you've tried both other political organizations and they have failed you.
Yes.
Right? So try a different way in adding up the maths to come out with the right answer to the sum.
That's so true.
But we're going to close really with this clip from the Prime Minister. This is when he's feeling his oats about 2 years ago and telling you, after promise you full employment within 3 years' time, and 50% will be reduced in the first 18 months. 50% of unemployment will reduce in the first 18 months of his administration.
3 years.
This is what he comes to tell you. I think this was late 2015. Yeah. This one. This one is a gem from the Prime Minister. It's damn rude and insulting, but Antiguan, this is what you have to take in mind when you go into the poll for the next general election.
And we expect every single Antiguan and Barbudan to earn his or her quick keep. Even if you have to burn coal, you must produce. You go bush, cut cassie, raise some pigs, raise some chickens, go fishing. Do something productive with your lives.
How disrespectful.
Very disrespectful, and on that note we're going to end it, right?
Gosh.
But we'll be back next week, God willing, and we'll be just helping you to inform you so that when the election is called, you know what has been said, what has been done,
and what
you
you got.
know the truth, and you arm yourself with the truth before you go into that polling booth.
Total.
So take good care. Bye for now.
Bye.
A buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Bree-bree-doo, bree-bree-doo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.